Hey, beautiful people. Kate here, and today we have an interview with Brie Johnson, who helps busy moms get a job using her program. So it's a fabulous, interesting idea, and I cannot wait to show it to you. In this, we're going to talk about using videos and testimonials, but not in the way that we typically see in marketing. In this, we're going to talk about how to use those testimonials to bridge a confidence gap. So it's an amazing idea. I really think it's something that could be used by her, and I've certainly used it successfully in the past. So let's dive right in. Brie, I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the program that you put together. Can you tell us
Mhm.
a little bit about your program and what its topic is and all of those good things?
Absolutely. My program is called the Career Catalyst, and it's designed for moms who are ready to take the next step in their career. And for a lot of moms, that means going back to work. So, getting back into that corporate environment, figuring out what to do if you've spent a few years off because you've been caring for your family and that's been your top priority. And now you're ready to say, okay, I can do this. I can go back, but where do I start? And it's definitely possible to go through and do your own research, put together your own plan for what you want to go after and how you want to do it. But more often than not, with my own experience, with my clients' experiences, and other moms that I'm friends with, the thought of having to do it on your own can be so overwhelming. And there's so much conflicting advice that's
Mm.
out there that you oftentimes will find someone who says, you know what, maybe now's not the right time. And they put that move off or they don't take that next step. And it's very easy as moms to let our own desires, dreams, however you want to think about it, take a back seat. And it's
Mhm.
very easy to say, I'm going to continue to put my family first. I don't need to do this for me right now. I can do this in 6 months or a year. And then before you know it, 3 or 5 years more have passed, and you haven't done that thing that you wanted to do for yourself with your career.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that in addition to conflicting advice, there may be a lot of outdated advice. How much has the
Yes.
work environment shifted over the last
Mhm.
5 years?
It's shifted quite a bit. And I think now more than ever is a phenomenal time, just a really good time for moms to take that step. There are so many options that you have today that you didn't have 5 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, that you can now take advantage of as a mom. And I think employers across industries are really starting to recognize the intangible skill set that someone who is a parent, this applies to dads too, but especially for moms, there is so much that you bring to the table that is valuable and that is needed in all kinds of work environments. And now is one of the best times to put yourself back out there and just see what those options are.
I find it very interesting that you say that. I know being a mom, sometimes there's the guilt in the feeling that workplaces wouldn't want to hire me because,
Mhm.
I need time off to pick up my kids from work, or if my kid's sick, I'm going to have to call in. So sometimes
Mhm.
there's this feeling that people wouldn't want me because I have all this other responsibility. And
Mhm.
you're saying that's not true.
I am. I think it's a slow shift that's happening. And certainly there are going to be some industries that are more amenable to that. But as we see across the board, more of a demand for a flexible work environment
Mhm.
and the opportunities to work from home either entirely remotely or in a hybrid sort of a format where you're in the office a couple days a week and at home the other days during the week, that has opened up so many opportunities and given employers the opportunity to step back, and those who are adapting quickly and well to that sort of demand from employees are now seeing it doesn't matter if the work gets done between 9 to 5. If the work gets done earlier in the morning or later in the evening, as long as the work is getting done, that's the most important thing. So having someone who needs to take an hour block to pick up their kiddos from preschool or drop off things for soccer practice is no longer the deal breaker that I think it was certainly when I was a kid and when I first started in my career as well.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Now, I worked with a couple of companies, and I noticed that with one of them, and of course, there's so many out there and so many different options, but with one of them, the focus was on getting the work done and getting the results. The other one
Yep.
seems to also want the focus to be on the results and the work getting done. But I think this idea of fairness can be almost like unfairly applied. So,
Mhm.
if Gianna is going to be here from 8:30 to 5:30, then I need everybody else to be in here. And if I
Mhm.
make an exception for someone, I have to make an exception for everyone. And I feel
Mhm.
like that thinking is not super flexible.
I agree. I think that is one of those scenarios where, in my HR background, I would say that that person is using the idea of fairness to just be completely rigid and inflexible.
Yeah.
And instead of extending the same opportunity to everyone, they're putting the same restriction on everyone. So it's an interesting choice of words and
Mhm.
how they would apply that. But I think you're absolutely right. That winds up being completely unfair to everyone at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, why is this particular topic of helping moms get back to work or career change or whatever? Why is this so important to you?
That's a great question. In my experience in human resources, I had the opportunity to be what is called an HR generalist. So I got to do everything. It was a small company. So I got to be involved with an employee from the very beginning of their relationship. So them finding a position posted online, going through the interview process, hiring, new employee onboarding and training, benefit selection and implementation, dealing with helping people figure out professional development goals, dealing with any sort of disciplinary issues that came up, and then in the event that someone was leaving the company, helping them make a smooth transition out. So I got to be a part of everything.
Mhm.
And many of the people that I worked with, my colleagues, were parents as well. And there were times where I would have an extremely intelligent and talented person in my office, and this person would express so much frustration and doubt and insecurity to a point where we had a fantastic team member who got promoted to being a manager and a team lead in her department. And she sat in my office crying, saying, I can't do this. They know I can't do this. They want me to quit. And seeing the way moms build up everyone around them and don't take time for themselves, don't give those same sorts of pep talks to
Mm.
themselves that we give to our friends, our spouses, our children, we are missing an opportunity to speak to ourselves that way. And there is so much potential and so many things that I think as women in the workplace as well, we're taught not to brag. And there's a way to brag that isn't the uncomfortable, braggadocious, look at how amazing I am, but a way that gives you a chance to take credit for the work that you've done. And having a coach, having someone who can walk you through, here's why you're amazing. You need to know how amazing you are so that
Yes.
your employer knows, so that your potential employer knows. And being able to see those transformations firsthand is something that gives me so much energy. And it's so fulfilling when I'm able to see a client say, and this is something that I've actually had a client say, you make me look so impressive. And I was like, I didn't do any of the things that are on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile. You did all of those things. If you see that and you say, I look impressive, I want you to say, I am impressive. And
Yes.
it's helping women make that shift in their own mindset that is really exciting and fulfilling for me.
I love it. I think that is super, super exciting. And when you think about taking people who are incredibly talented and helping them
Mhm.
connect with the right positions, a position that is more focused on results and effort and kind of
Mhm.
what they're doing versus being there from 9 to 5, like you're some sort of,
Mhm.
chess pawn.
Right.
I've got the right piece in the right place. No, you've got the right talent in the right position, and
Mhm.
that's so much more important. You're not only
Absolutely.
benefiting that person and their teams and the people that they impact, but also the company.
Mhm.
Now, that's a
Yep.
total win-win for everybody
I think it is, and I think it's exciting to see that happen more often.
and their kiddos.
Absolutely. There is so much to be gained from having your kids see you do things that excite you, that light you up, that give them the chance to explore and figure out what does that for them. And
Yes.
I have 3 little boys, and I know that they are learning things watching me run my business, watching
Mhm,
their dad step in to cook dinner sometimes and help with laundry, and
mhm,
they're learning to be good partners. They're learning to balance their time. They're learning to figure things out. My 2-year-old climbs into my desk on a regular basis and pretends to type at my computer and goes, "Mommy, I'm working, I'm working." And I'm like, "Yes, you are, buddy. That's pretty
yes.
much what we do. Yep, you got it."
You're teaching them to build and nurture their dreams, other people's
Mhm,
dreams, and making a positive association between work and creativity and positive
mhm.
feelings versus, I've gotta
Absolutely.
go to the 9 to 5 grind.
Right. Right. Or sitting there and recognizing that, okay, I completed a project. I can move on to something else now. I
Mhm.
don't have to sit and be at my desk for a certain number of hours. I can complete the project and then move on to whatever is next on my list.
Okay, so let's go on to these letters. I'm super curious to
Sure.
read the letter that you wrote that comes from your ideal client and why she wants to be a part of your program.
Hello there. I just came across your course online and I'm so happy I found it. I've been ready to get back to work for a while, but I'm lost about where to start. I know that I could find the information I need on my own, but the thought of sifting through all the advice online is overwhelming, and I'm not even sure that all of it is good advice. I'm really struggling with mom guilt at the thought of not being available to my kids all the time. I know that I'm a better mom and a better partner when I have things that are mine and I do things for myself. But I've been really bad at taking that time for a while now, and I'm not quite sure how to start again. My confidence is pretty low since I've been out of the corporate world for a while, and I'm worried that I've fallen behind with my skill set. I need some help putting together a strategy and figuring out the best way to move forward. I need some help.
Awesome. You can feel a lot of the feelings there that she's feeling lost, overwhelmed, mom guilt, low confidence. This is kind of what you would expect from somebody who'd want a course like yours.
I think so. Yeah. And all of these things can come from so many different places. If you didn't grow up with both parents working and giving that example, that's going to add to that mom guilt, especially. There's so many messages coming at us from every single direction about what a good mom looks like. And nobody defines that the same way. The good mom is the best mom for your kids.
Mhm.
So it's figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, it can be hard to be a successful mom when you have everybody telling you how to do everything and how you should be doing
Yes.
everything from discipline to feeding your kids to like
Yep.
everything. It's really tough. That's a tough job. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the second letter. I'm so excited to hear something that's more uplifting.
So this second email is one that would be, in my head, it was coming from someone who has completed the course.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for all you've done for me. I've just finished my first week in my new role, and I'm more confident professionally than I've been in a long time. My kids are excited to see mommy trying something new, and I know that it's going to be good for them as they get older to see me doing things for myself. It's been great to be in a place where I can utilize my talents and learn new things. I wasn't nearly as far behind as I convinced myself, and I've even been able to teach some of my colleagues a few things as they've been helping me. This has absolutely been the change that I needed.
That is awesome. Now, the one thing I really didn't hear from either of the letters, and I really want to hear it from you, and that is
Mhm,
what are the reasons, the motivations that people have for wanting to take this course? Yes, they feel overwhelmed and they feel lost, so that might be part of it. But
mhm.
why do they want to go back to work? Or why are they looking for a job?
I think a lot of those motivations are going to come from, especially as a mom of little tiny people, you get caught up in being a mom. And I know that for me, such a big part of how I even introduce myself is I'm Walter's mom, I'm Oscar's mom, I'm Arthur's mom.
Mhm.
And that almost becomes a definition that I love having, but I don't want that to be the only definition of who I am. I don't want to be defined by my relationship to someone else. I want to be defined as an individual. And I've encountered that with several of my clients as well. It's wanting to not be stuck in one little box because we all have so many different things that we do, so many different talents that we have. And to try and narrow it down to I'm just one thing is almost impossible for any of us. So it's wanting to be able to do that. There are also a lot of women out there who don't get 100% fulfillment from being a mom. They want to have something that is theirs. Wanting a career and having those aspirations doesn't mean that being a mom isn't important to you.
Mhm.
It just means that you want something for yourself, something that is yours, that gives you that creative outlet or gives you that opportunity to impact the world around you in a very positive way. You know, maybe um, you have a lot of skills in a nonprofit arena, or there's something that you want to support locally that you want to be involved in. And it's a chance to do that. And it's a chance to build different relationships as well that aren't based on our kids are in the same kindergarten class, that aren't driven by your children. You have these professional connections, you have these opportunities to go to different events, different seminars, maybe even to participate and deliver some of that training yourself.
So I heard you talk about identity and
Mhm,
greater fulfillment and
mhm,
building professional relationships, which I would say is probably has a lot to do with wanting to be able to talk to somebody about something that interests them. For me,
mhm.
I want to talk about courses. I think courses are cool
Right.
and I love talking about
Yep.
it. So I'm super interested in that. So
Mhm,
going to
absolutely.
a convention where we're talking about courses and adult learning and all that type of stuff,
Mhm.
that just makes me super happy.
And I certainly think that there's that financial component for people. You know, you want to have that freedom, that flexibility. And again, as work looks different, depending on what your role is and what your industry is, it's easier to do that now than it ever has been. You don't have to be a 9 to 5 employee to have any sort of income. You know, there's a lot more flexible options, whether it's part time, whether it's freelancing. There's a lot that can be done now that we can take advantage of.
Okay, that's what I was going to say is that I didn't hear you say money.
I think that's definitely on the list.
Yes, but I have to say that's
Mhm.
probably, I would guess, the number one reason people are looking for a job.
Mhm.
Yeah, little kids cost money. I mean,
They
I
do.
also think that, it is a lot to pay for
Mhm.
childcare when you're working, so you can't go ahead necessarily and take a low-paying job. It could be that you end up working for $1 an hour by the time you're done with it because
Mhm.
of the cost of childcare.
That is absolutely part of the calculations that my husband and I ran before I left my full time position, before our third little guy joined the family. We ran the numbers, and I would be making like $100 a week
Mm,
after we factored in the cost of childcare and what I was bringing home. And it didn't make sense for us
yeah.
for me to keep going that way.
Let's say that you're working with somebody and you can tell that they're feeling all the things. They're feeling lost, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling the guilt, and they're feeling the
Mhm.
lack of confidence. What do you see kind of like they're breaking through and they're changing, maybe even before they see what is that difference for them?
One of the first things that I will notice is actually something that I can see. So I love being able to work with clients in a setting just like this, where we're on Zoom and I can see them because I can physically see a shift in their posture. They will sit up a little bit taller. Their shoulders are a little bit further back. There's they're projecting that confidence, that I likely didn't get to see on our clarity call. They
Mhm.
might have been kind of like a little tired, a little hunched over. And when we really start to make that breakthrough, there's a physical shift in how you carry yourself. And that's something that happens, I think, people don't even necessarily realize that they're doing it. I actually have had someone comment on me doing that and saying, "Your posture is different. Like you're excited about this. You're proud of this." And I was like, "I really am." And like I took a second and I kind of, checked in with myself and I was like, "I am sitting up taller. I am sitting up straighter." So that's one of the first things that will change. And oftentimes the language they use will change. So instead of "I'm just a mom," or "I'm just getting started," qualifying words like that start to go away.
Mhm.
And instead of, I just want to do a little bit, it's, "No, I really want to do this. I want to take this step." And it's no longer using language that minimizes what they can do and what they're capable of. And some of that is through talking about, what are the right descriptive words to use in your LinkedIn profile, in your resume. How do we make that exciting? And some of it comes through as well, and as part of that same process, in how do you put numbers to those accomplishments? Because when you actually look at it on paper and you take what has been for so long just something that is very qualifiable and make it quantifiable and put a number to, "I've raised this amount of money for nonprofits in my area. I've spent this much time volunteering. I've helped raise, this amount of money in my sales territory." That really gives a solid foundation. And I think you start to interpret your own abilities differently at that point.
That is beautiful. So, what are they thinking differently? Really, probably a lot of thoughts about themselves and
Mhm.
maybe what's possible, right?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it as well, one of the other big shifts is getting very strategic about what it is that you want and what you want that career to look like and what you want those next steps to be. It's easy to get caught up in the notion of, "I just need a job. I'm going to apply for absolutely everything and I'm going to send out 200 applications in a month and not hear back from any of them." Whereas when you get very clear about what you want, what you offer, the value that you bring to the table,
Mhm.
you can apply to 10 and hear back from 7 and really spend your energy getting to the right thing instead of just the first thing.
I remember when I was young and looking for a job, I used to open the newspaper where they had the wanted ads
Mhm,
back in the day before we had the internet. And I remember looking at those going, I wonder which ones I qualify for. So, which jobs
mhm,
could I possibly apply for? Instead of a thought like that, you're thinking, I know what I want. I'm looking for the right job.
absolutely.
Yeah. Not only that, I think that I want to look for the right company to work for.
That has become, I think, one of the things that's really shifted in the past couple of years
Mhm.
is that the interview process is no longer just about, "Oh, I hope they like me. I hope they want to hire me." It's, "What do I need to know about this company to make sure that it's the right fit for me? Do my values align with this company's values?" And it's really, right now, it is an employee's market. You can kind of pick and choose what you want and where you want to be. And companies can't fill all of the positions that are open right now. So there's a lot of opportunity, and companies are being put in a position that I think many of them are not used to. And I think it's a good thing.
I agree. I think it's a good thing. I think there's a lot of bad management practices
Mhm.
that are touted as being very good, like micromanaging and very
Right.
much leadership dictated. Everybody's
Mhm.
going to do what I tell them to do. And I think that in a time like this, though, that's getting shaken up a little bit.
It is. And I think we've needed that for a while.
I would agree with that. I would agree. So I can see that a course like this could be challenging to create because this is part knowledge and more encouragement
Mhm.
and seeing yourself differently. Like if you're going to learn how to play piano, it's a lot of practice,
Right.
a lot of knowledge. But here it's
Mhm.
I'm going to take the one thing that I know best myself and go, maybe I'm not the best judge for what I'm capable for. Maybe I've been cutting
Mhm.
myself a little too short and I'm walking around with far less confidence than I've actually have earned.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that is absolutely one of the challenges. And part of my intention for the course is that it's still going to have a component where you get to work with me.
Okay.
And that I think is what will help to set it apart. I've seen plenty of like 90-minute webinars that help you write a great resume. And I think there's a lot that you can gain from those.
Mhm.
But having someone who can sit down and say, okay, Kate, what is your goal? Where do you want to be at the end of this process? And then going through and saying, okay, here are some basics. I want you to watch this 20-minute tutorial on your resume. I want you to go through it, knowing those things. And then we're going to go through it together. And I'm going to make some additional changes. And I'm going to tell you why.
Mhm.
As someone who was in charge of all of the hiring for this company that I used to work for, what would stand out to me and why would it stand out to me? And does it stand out in the way you want it to?
Mhm. I love it. So, what are your biggest challenges so far?
I tend to overestimate the amount of information that is fair
Okay.
to put in. So, in my head, this is a course and a coaching program that someone could go through in 3 months.
Okay.
And I quickly realized that I needed to pull some things out of it because it was too much. It was, thinking about the fact that my client is a busy mom. She's got a lot going on and a lot that she's balancing. What I had initially put together would be more appropriate as probably three separate courses that all build on each other. So it's really putting me in a position where I'm setting them up for success. Because I
Mhm.
have taken the courses where here you have 12 weeks to complete this. And then 2 years later, I learned that the person who ran that course for me, and I felt like I struggled to get things done, has taken the same course. And now it's a year-long program with the
Mhm.
same information. And I don't want to put my students in that sort of a position where they're feeling like I'm not able to support them.
That is a really good consideration. When you think about your audience, you have to think about like what is possible for them to do. And
Mhm.
so I would consider course content or course structure that
Mhm.
allows them to like watch while they're taking care of a baby. What can I watch or rewatch? Also, if you haven't already used this, I think your course would definitely benefit by doing some varied examples of people going through the process. Because what
Oh, I
happens
like
when they're
that.
talking to you, you come across as a very professional expert who knows your stuff.
Thank
And
you.
sometimes, well, that's good and it's bad. Let me explain. It's good and it's bad because people have a tendency to look at you and go, you have it together and you have what it takes, and you're a
Mhm.
special little unicorn. You don't understand. That's not me. And so
Mhm.
there can be this, well, of course you can do it because you're Brie. I'm just Kate. I can't
Mhm.
do that. And so they have it like if they're low confidence already, there may be a tendency to write
Yeah.
themselves out of the success. And that's hurtful to them. It's hurtful to their future employer. It's unfortunately hurtful to their children.
Mhm.
So, what can we do to kind of like not, and you can tell stories about your own struggles, and that sometimes works, but sometimes people go, well, of course you struggled because you were in a situation like me, but you have that special DNA, the
Mhm.
special unicorn DNA that makes you capable. You were gonna be successful no matter what. But that's not necessarily me. We know the end of your story. I'm still at the beginning of
Mhm.
mine. So I think it may
Yeah.
be helpful for you to take, let's say, three different types of moms. Look at the types of profiles that you have and the people who are coming
Mhm.
through, and find yourself a good representative from each one of those categories. And then while you're working with them, get an agreement from them in which you can use their videos with their approval, the clips that you
Mhm.
select, and use them
Yeah.
as as they're going through the process. So, say that I'm doing the very beginning and like maybe you work with moms who've never had a corporate job
Mhm.
And so you have one profile as a person who's never done a corporate job. And so you look at her resume and you're like, well, not much here to work with, like what do you do with this?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that there's nothing to work with. I'm just saying that it's a different set of data.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's a very different starting point.
And so if people are watching her as she progresses, as they go through the course, now
Mhm.
they've got somebody that is comparable to them. And they can see if it worked for Jean and we didn't know what was going to happen with her, then maybe it'll work with me.
Mhm.
Then another profile might be somebody who used to be in corporate and then they took, a 6-month break, like you said, and 6 months turned into 5 years. And the
Mhm.
corporate environment has changed quite a bit. And I don't know that my stuff is going to, still work. So that might be one. And another one might be somebody who's in corporate, but, has had a baby and the corporate environment is not amenable to the flexibility that she needs. So how
Mhm.
does she find a different company, without looking like she's trashing the current one? Maybe the profiles look a little bit different, but if they're watching these others go through the process, then maybe they can bridge the gap and see themselves as successful.
Yeah,
So
I love that idea. Mhm.
you might need to do some editing on yourself to begin with to make it look good, but I would say
Sure.
keep the raw video. And if you can, as soon as you can, turn those videos over to a professional editor because they can also be part of your marketing campaign.
That's what I was wondering, is that I've had the opportunity to work with clients and be able to share their feedback as testimonials.
Mhm.
This sounds like kind of the next level from that, and I love that idea of helping to build that connection and build that community, because I think a lot of times as well, we feel pretty alone in some
Mhm.
of our struggles as moms and as working moms as well. So that's I really like that.
Mhm. You're
Mhm.
just changing the way that you're talking about it so that people can see what a
Right.
phenomenal experience that you already have because,
Mhm.
us moms, we're not doing nothing.
Right. Exactly.
We are learning a lot of skills, so
Mhm.
those are skills that and absolutely like, I don't believe in treating people like children,
Mhm.
but being a parent did change the way that I treat others. Not
Mhm.
not in the sense that I'm looking down at them, but as much as I am seeing possibilities in different ways.
Mhm. Absolutely, and I know from my experience, it helped me prioritize as far as being able to figure out what was necessary, what wasn't, and I keep my cool under pressure so much better now than I used to, because I understand a different perspective on things, and it's like, "Okay, that didn't go the way we wanted it to. What do we do next? Let's fix it, and
Yeah.
let's not get completely caught up in the problem." Especially with my kids. If I'm caught up in the problem, so are they, and they're not going to get out of it until I do. So that's very much in a positive way impacted what I do at work.
Yeah, that's a great transferable skill right there.
Hmm.
Just being able to roll with, unexpected things that are happening.
Hmm. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
This is great.
All right, Brie, have a beautiful day.
Thanks, you too.
Wow, I really hope you enjoyed that interview with Brie. I know I did, and I think she's doing such amazing work. If you're interested in finding out more about her course or about her work, check out the links below. And if you're interested in learning more about what I do, be sure to like and subscribe, and there are links below for me too. Have a beautiful day.